Hello again, this is Andrew Raymond Savage. Today's date, the 18th day of May 2016, Common Era, Wednesday, 1640 Pacific Coast Time GMT. I wanted to go over a couple things. For starters, for starters, right? I've been pulling the proverbial fire alarm for 24 fucking years, right? And it's like, well, let's just look at, from when they continued playing around over there as the Justice Department over in the state of California and Long Beach, where the Long Beach DA, district attorney, decided to brush Andrew Wesley Keach Sr.'s criminal background under the rug, expunging this and that. Um, and then calling the police multiple times and having the police called multiple times by others on the residents over at 547 and 549 West 7th Street, Long Beach, California, on 7th and Daisy. Back when I was like not even a teenager yet, the last time I remembered calling the police, and the two of us being separated there for a while, where the officer talked to Andrew Wesley Keach Sr. outside. I don't even think Andrew Wesley Keach Sr. was wearing a shirt that day, just wearing his torn up blue jean shorts, walking outside, talking to the police officer, drunk as heck, and then the sergeant or partner of the officer talking to me inside, telling me that I had to prove that I was being abused, and told me to go look for a phone book when I asked him if I could at least see a social worker, because Andrew Wesley Keach Sr. Wouldn't let the social worker into the house, and never even talked to her. Every time she'd come over, she would just talk to him outside, and explain to the sergeant there that every time I try to call the police, when I do have the bruises and the signs there of domestic violence, that he hides the phone, and that he told me his words were to look for the phone book to call the social worker. That was pretty much when I lost faith in the Long Beach Police Department. It's kind of like that sergeant there was more fascinated with getting cocaine in the system than helping a person that was being hurt, a child that was being hurt by an adult. So with that said, that's one thing there. I just don't understand how they even sleep at night, how they even put their uniform on in the morning and look at themselves in the mirror over there in Long Beach PD. With that said, also, it's been it's been very interesting that I've tipped off the CIA, the FBI, the DEA, the Long Beach Police Department, Fresno Sheriff's Department, and I guess they just think I'm a crazy person. When I don't think they understand, they're looking. If they look at me, they're looking at somebody that has been mutilated. I've got 9 broken bones, mind you. I've had my nose broken 3 times by that family. I was never supposed to be put into their custody, and well, after the court there decided to put me in their custody, they went about making a perjury of my birth certificate and renaming me after the person that was assaulting me and stalking my family. And it's just very disturbing to bear that all in mind and see how incompetent so many people are that are supposed to be wearing their uniform correctly. That there's a question that has continuously arisen here and there, and mind you, I'm not tangenting there, Dr. Nas and Dr. Sherbert Cruz. I think you guys need to get your heads checked. Okay, so back over to the law enforcement issue. How long has it been since the FBI started? How long has it been since the FBI stopped, or have they stopped doing their IQ tests? Because one of the prerequisites of getting into the FBI, you used to have to take an IQ test to prove your intelligence, as well as various other batteries of tests. It just makes me wonder, do they have literal retards calling themselves agents nowadays, or what? Okay, so onward to the VA thing, where I went to Long Beach there because I was going to go see Carol Shaw. And then, well, I was going through a lot of heightened emotional states there of extreme sadness, just tears running down my eyes, and I didn't want Carol to see me so distraught, so I wanted to go seek a licensed professional to talk to. Um, I needed to see a crisis prevention coordinator, and well, nurse practitioner Mina Zhong, um, she only wrote down 2 lines on her notes in regards to what I was saying. And then, well, when you look at what she said that I said, I didn't say any of that. She said that I accused the Veterans Affairs of stealing my social security number, which wasn't what I said. That was not what I said. And I repeated myself multiple times, too, and clarifying myself that I had received multiple letters for many years now since I've been honorably discharged from the Navy. That that's an RE3 M, and I've been receiving repeated letters from DC there in regards to someone tampering with my medical records. And mind you, my medical records went from being like an inch and a half or so thick to now just being so thin that you can fold it and put it into a standard issued um, post office envelope. Just one of those 3x5s or 3x6s. And yeah, it's just another sign that somebody tampered with my records there. And the skull fracture doesn't help, as well as the back pain, having a broken coccyx and something wrong with my lumbar area. Also, with having lost so much blood there in the past, that it does take me sometimes. Some mornings it takes me a long time there to get the pain to stretch out. I've got to like lay down on the floor after I wake up, a nice flat surface, and stretch out my legs, stretch out my back, so that I can get the strength there to even just get up and walk. Not every morning, just some mornings. And it's just been 6 years. Finally, after 6 years, they're finally going to let me go to group sessions, which was what I was supposed to be doing from the start. So I have these files here from these files that I'm supposed to fill out from the Fresno Veterans Affairs in regards to what was it, Form OMB number 1105 tax 008, claim for damage, injury, or death, just tort claims. Got 2 of them. And it's in regards to Dr. Nas, Dr. Cruz, and Mina Zhong from Albany, Long Beach, and here in Fresno, of the repeated harassing and how they've tried to diagnose me after I've already been diagnosed. They just haven't been giving me the treatment. And yeah, it's something else there to be harassed and ridiculed by the people that are supposed to be helping you. And with all the other federal compliance statutes being violated by the Veterans Affairs, it wouldn't surprise me if there are others going through similar, to varying degrees of what I've gone through. That no one should ever have to endure something like this, where a single parent family somehow slithers through the cracks, adopts a child that's not really their child, and collects like $400 a month and didn't pay any alimony while claiming to be the parent. Collects $400 a month for 10 years and then just throws the child out. Doesn't didn't clothe or feed the child, with the exception of thrift clothes from the grandparents and food stamps. While that's another thing in terms of fraud, right? Because the thing was like he was working sometimes and collecting unemployment also and food stamps while working and collecting money under the table. It's just like a question like where did all the currency go? And then blackout drinking, the injections, the knockouts, the repeated calling of the Long Beach Police Department, the gaffing of their logs, and subversion of justice, trafficking drugs, pedophilia, child rape, murders. Oh yeah, I already told your law enforcement agencies about that. So I'm just wondering when they're gonna pick up the phone. One of the things that he did to me, Andrew Wesley Sr. There's no junior, mind you. I think you guys need to look at my original birth certificate if you're still able to find it. Like the one with the signature. It has the golden emblem on the top right corner. Well, anyway, so one of the things he would do is he'd confess to having broken various crimes, right? And then it was like he was trying to test me to see if I was gonna like side with him or do the right thing. So I tried to like play it off like, oh, I've got some stuff I need to take care of, like with school studies and stuff like that, right? To where I was gonna go call, and then like injection, bullshit, knockouts, and him selling drugs over there in Bellflower, in his Bellflower residence. And and one of the things is like another thing that came back to me in terms of recalling memories, because there was so much graphic stuff, so much weight that happened, so many bad things that happened back there, and it's like when you're trying to recall something else simultaneously with something else's like sideswiping you. It's a bit challenging sometimes, but I do remember he's totaled so many cars, mind you, and he's got OCD, and he totaled his, let's see here, let's try to count this back. Okay, so he totaled his Corvette, his Camaro. I think he had a Camaro before that too that he totaled. And to go to the memory that I'm trying to bring up here, back on the Bellflower residence, the Chevy S10. Well, before that, at the 549 or 547 West 7th Street thing, he totaled that drinking and driving, brought it back to the house, and I guess he didn't want to file the insurance claim. Had me sitting inside the whole time. Told me not to go anywhere, just stay inside. And so he was just welding around the area that he damaged on the Chevy S10. And then he totaled it again over at the Bellflower residence. Brought it to the into the garage. I think it was either into the garage or off to the side. Started welding it again. And then tried to make me pay for it, like when I turned 16 or something, to sell it to me, right? And yeah, it's just very, very disturbing. There's some more to come. It's just a matter of it, the tension loosening up, the weight of all the paper there loosening up. Don't even get me started. I've already talked about the USS Columbia, SSN 771 there, with all the alcoholics, the commander, the captain, that is. Not the XO, but the captain and the engineer and their little drinking buddy circles, and some of the division leaders, specifically Scotch Ailers and Aridator drinking buddies. Too busy gunning down their own six and then trying to put wedges between crew members. Like, it was like watching
It's like watching Locked Up Abroad type sensation, like just like jaw dropping sensation of just watching criminal behaviors of people that are supposed to be in uniform. And with Petty Officer Miles there, you know, Taj told me that he was getting kicked out of the. Taj told me that Petty Officer Miles was getting kicked out of the Navy for doing cocaine and a DUI. And well, there were other people on that ship that kept talking about cocaine, but they were doing it like in a manner, when they were off watch, as if they were joking, like making jokes about it. But in hindsight, it's like hindsight's 2020, so it's like who else was partying with Miles there a little too hard?